What up everyone, True Blue here, and today I'm going to be doing what every Kamen Rider tuber does at some point, and that is rank all of the base forms of all of our Kamen Riders that we know and love, and rank them in just a tier list style. This is not going to be just base Heisei and Reiwa. I also have basically all the Showa Riders, and a couple extras. This tier list I did not make, I found it, and I will link it. So if you guys want to make your own, support the person who made this, go for it. But I'm just going to hop right into it. So starting right along, we have Kamen Rider Ichigo. The first suit, it's simple, but it's iconic, and it deserves the top. Right at the top. It is such a classic suit. Gorgeous, love it in action. Yes, it's my bias as a Rider fan. But it deserves that top spot. I love that suit because it's classic. Now, I'm just going to put Nigo in really good. His suit is just Ichigo's, but with slight differences. So, actually, yeah, his suit's not bad. It's just Ichigo's with very slight differences that most people still don't even realize. So I'm not going to sit here and say it's a good suit because it's just Ichigo's. It's kind of lazy, but I mean, budget, I get it. Back then, no one really knew if Kamen Rider was going to take off as it did. So while I will fault it for being just Ichigo's suit, which isn't peak, I can't really hate it. You know what? I'll just put an average. I'll put you an average. You know what? You're fine. You're fine, man. Next, Kamen Rider V3. So, I like the V3 suit, but the helmet, I don't know what they did with the mouth. And that the whole white section of the helmet, it bothers me looking at it, and I don't like it. Following that, Rider Man. Yeah, I could be better too. I feel bad for dissing on Rider Man because half his helmet doesn't exist. But that's also my big issue here. It's also very simple, arguably more simple compared to even Ichigo. But I don't know. The Showa Riders, you can only fault them for so much at the time because it didn't take off at this point. Next we have X, who I'm putting in really good. I actually like the suit. I think it's a really good step up from V3's designs. The X motif throughout, I think they did a really good job. And it's just a very solid suit, especially for being back in the Showa era. I think it's just a very solid suit, and I don't really have any complaints of it. I think it's just they did a good job. Next up, Kamen Rider Amazon. Okay, I can't put that one in peak. I really love Amazon. I think it's a really goofy suit, and I really like it for it. But because Amazons, the show exists, that one, I can't put the OG in peak. So it's just a really good. But I really love Amazon. Amazon, well, up there in terms of riders I love from that era. Next up, we have Kamen Rider Stronger, who I'm also putting... Actually, you know what? No, you get peak. It's my opinion. You get peak. I think Stronger is the funniest suit for a main rider. His big, like, blow-up balloon-looking chest piece and his helmet are so comically large and goofy. They stand out so much, and I just love it. I think Stronger's silly, and I appreciate silly. So, this one goes out to Kamen Rider Stronger. I think that's just a really funny suit. Next, we have Sky Rider. Average... Sky Rider doesn't try anything new, I feel. Like, Sky Riders are very safe in terms of design. And, like, I get it. But, I don't know, just... There really was nothing crazy with Sky Rider design-wise that stood out compared to anyone else previously. So, I'm just gonna chuck him an average. Nothing really to say. Next, we have Super One. I'm putting Super One in really good. I like the silver. I think it really stands out. His hands, I think they're fun, and I don't know, it's just a solid suit. It's simple, but I really like the color choice, and that really boosted for me. Anyway, Kamen Rider Black. this one an average. This was very close. This was the closest we're getting to like Heisei era, in terms of like designs and all that. And I guess this is just because I'm looking back with seeing all of the Reiwa and Heisei suits, but I think black is just kind of not my favorite. It's mostly the helmet. I feel like the helmet just seems disproportional at a lot of angles. But I think that's just a me thing. It is a good suit overall. And speaking of Black RX, I feel the same way. It's really just the head for me on this one. I hate how that like head, neck, chest thing. Like I hate how it looks like like one solid. Like if it's a silhouette, and I get why. I know why, because it's based off like the monster from all that. I still don't really care for it. I don't. Black and Black RX are very much like they're good suits, but they have their faults in my opinion. So I can't say they're really good, but they're not bad. These suits, Zoe and Jay, are so similar. So I'm just gonna go. My opinion about them is the same. They both are so average. They don't try anything new. They have the V3 helmet, kind of like middle piece, but it's a lot better because it's years later. So it doesn't look as bad, in my opinion. But again, they're very simple suits. Not much happening. They're not busy at all. So I'm putting them just in average. Lastly, for the classic show riders, Shin. No. His suit's not bad. I'm not... Hold up. Look, his suit isn't bad. It's just too monster-like for me. It's too much of a monster, okay? I need a bit more human. I need a bit more rider, all right? It's too much on the monster side for me to be like, that's a Kamen Rider suit. That's my biggest fault with that one. It's just, it's too much of a monster, okay? Gotta pull it back a bit, shit. Gotta pull it back, my friend. The real peak. I believe Omega. Yeah, Alpha and Omega, I believe they were both on this list, right? Yeah, he's on this list too. Both of the suits are peak. Both of the suits are phenomenal. I adore every single suit in Amazon's. They are phenomenal. Modern adaptations of classic Amazon, I think they look beautiful. Peak suit, really wish we got more of them. They look so nice. There's so much I could say, but I'm just gonna leave it at they just look so good. Next is Black Sun. Honestly, could be better. This, it tried to be Amazon. It tried doing the modern version of what Black RX was doing. And Black RX was trying to be like the monster, so they really leaned in with that. And as you can tell, that is not the aesthetic I like for my riders. I like my riders to be, bigger, bulky, like they're suits. They're not monsters. They do look at least like suits. That is my issue with Black Sun. But it's still a good suit, too. Again, I would say it's still better than Shin's, but... Now, the Heisei era, the one we all know and love. Starting off with Kuga, average. Kuga's average. It's a good suit. Kuga's a good suit, don't get me wrong. I love the, cherry red they have all over the suit, how it shines, its forms. They're all good, but again, coming off of the Showa era, it's still a very simple suit. They didn't go all out yet with designs or anything crazy. It was still very simple. And I mean, most of early Heisei is like that, but I don't know. Kuga felt too close to the Showa riders for me to be like, yeah, awesome suit. Well, that's my only thing. I think it doesn't stand out enough as the rest of the Heisei riders do. Speaking of, Agito could be better. Agito tried being Kuga, but gold. And while I do think gold's a better color, and I do really like the Agito suit, it's just one of those things where it felt like it wanted to be more than it was. Especially with the whole... nowadays, it's very common with the Kamen card showing that Agito is based off a dragon. Who the heck looks at Agito and says dragon? I think they could have went harder with some of the aesthetics. Maybe put a bit more detailing in the gold instead of just being flat. across the chest, but it's not a bad suit by any means, but I definitely think they could have used Kuka's kind of designs and improved upon it even more than they tried to with Akito. That's my hot take. Next, Ryuki. I actually really like the Ryuki riders. I think Ryuki has a very solid suit. I love all the silver. Love the silver. The clashing red's very strong. I like it. I do love how they went about the helmets, having them all be different knights, and then the eyes are masked themselves. You can see Dragouter's like symbol on the helmet as well. Next up, we have Faiz. Faiz is a peak suit. I don't need to like explain this one. I think this solid black suit and the red lines all throughout, how everything lights up. It's so clean. It's so clean. And the silver bits to tie it all together. It's such a good suit. Such a good suit. My only complaint is I wish they kept it in better quality. Especially since we just had the Faiz anniversary movie, like, last year. Next we have Blade with a silver helmet, because gold is not the color of Blade's helmet for all of those who are not keeping up. I think Blade's a really good suit too. My only thing is it just feels very bulky, very top heavy. That's my one issue with Blade. It feels very top heavy, and that's the one thing I don't like about it. If it wasn't so bulky at the top, if it was just like, if it felt like the suit actors could have a bit more movement when wearing it, then I would be like, yes, absolutely. But that's kind of my issue with just the Blade Riders. They feel very big in some areas, and then the rest feels just proportional, and it's weird. It stands out a lot, so that's my one complaint. Hibiki. I think the Hibiki aesthetic is gorgeous. I've never watched Hibiki. I honestly don't really know much about Hibiki. I know their Onis, I know their music, I know that. The purple suit, this shiny, shimmery suit, red accents, silver across it. Oh my god, how do you get better? How do you get better than that? It's such a good suit. They did such a good job with Hibiki. And then they said, hold up, run it back, Kabuto. Ooh. For those who don't know, my like second favorite color is like a metallic red. Kabuto is quite literally like that shade of red all the time. Some of these photos, the reds of certain riders, like I know like this photo of Kuga kind of looks like it. He doesn't look like that all the time. Kabuto absolutely does. It's such a gorgeous suit. It's so clean. It's so slick, but still you can see the bits of armor. It still looks high tech while being slim. You know, you can have so much expressiveness with Kabuto. It's such a good suit. Such a good suit. Oh my god. Den-O is my favorite rider. So you'd think I'd be putting him in peak suit. And he's going in peak suit. I really like the suit. And it's less of the suit overall and more of the fact that all of the forms are built into the suit. Like, with the exception of the helmet and the obvious parts that just color switch, the whole chest assembly area, you know, it can open up to be purple, and then it can rotate around to be yellow, and that can open up to be blue. Like, it has all of the forms built in, and it's such a good design. I love the base helmet alone, the little peach kind of thing to go with the whole Momotaro. Looks so good. I love how you can still see the base suit underneath, but it still blends in so well with what they're going for with Den-O. It's just such a good suit. I didn't realize how much I love the early Heisei suit so much. Kiva, I'm putting this in really good. I really like the Kiva aesthetic. My only issue is the chains. And while I do think they look cool, I guess this just comes with knowing so much about Rider and being so obsessed with it. The chains were real during the show's airing. So the suit actor quite literally had metal just on him. Like, that sucks. That's why Emperor Form Emperor Form debuted so early compared to other seasons. But the Kiva suit overall looks good. Like, I don't really have complaints. It's just knowing how hard it would be to wear that actual suit just really drags it down. Like, I can't say it's beautiful. It's peak. because of that. What I can say is peak is Decade. Oh my god, do I love the Decade suit. So Decade is bulky. And a lot of people fault him for that. That Decade suit is a rather chunky suit, a lot of dangly bits, honestly. But it's consistent. The whole suit is bulky, and it's all the little details. Like the X for the 10 across the chest, the stylized helmet with the lines for the cards, the magenta going throughout the suit, the black and white on top, the green eyes piercing through. Ugh, it's so good. Am I biased because I love Decade and I love the actor? Yes. But it's my tier list, so I don't care. Decade goes at the top. Next we have Heisei Phase 2 with Double. Let me explain. I like Double. I like the suit. It's a good suit. My issue with the Double suit is the accents. The purple and yellow accents, they clash. The yellow specifically for me. I know it's kind of gold, kind of yellow. That it stands out too much for me. In the red eyes, the consistent red eyes for all of the suits, I kind of wish they switched colors, but like I get red eyes is very common among Kamen Riders. Like just look at these images, how many of them have red eyes, you know? I like the half and half aesthetic. I like Double suit. I just think you could have maybe executed the accent colors better. That's my one issue. My one issue is I think the accents are just they're such in striking areas. The shoulders, the chest, the shins. Like, I just kind of wish they felt so prominent, I wish they didn't. They just take away from the overall suit, in my opinion. That is my issue with Double. Next is O's. Also, really good. I love the different colors. This is a case where I think the clashing works, because that's kind of what they were going for. I love how the helmet forms the bird. You can see the claws of the tiger. The legs of the grasshopper are literally like in the suit. You see the animals in subtle and not subtle ways. It's so good. And the green eyes matching with the legs, which it just kind of makes everything flow better, makes it more consistent, because you have the gold ring, of course, which matches very well with the yellow. It just, the whole suit works so well. My only kind of issue with it is I feel like the black just kind of takes away from the color. Like, I think personally, either they should have gone more in with this very much black focused suit and have everything be much more accents than anything else, because there are bits like the forearms are very yellow, the feet are purely green, the helmet is very red, of course. If they went more accent based, then maybe, I don't know, just I love the clash, it looks good, but it is a clash and it does have its faults. Kamen Rider Forze, average. It's just a white suit. It's a space suit. I really like Forze. It was a phenomenal season, don't get me wrong, but the suit itself is very plain. Again, it's supposed to be an astronaut, and I get it. You know, I get what they were going for, and I like what they were going for, but that doesn't mean it made the top rider suit. You know, when you're looking back at all of these, it's hard to say this is absolute peak. Alright? Just the truth. Kamen Rider Wizard. Nope, you go there. The same argument as Kabuto, but now he has a cloak. And he has these crystally bits now. There's more silver. He looks cooler. For reference, Wizard is my favorite base suit. No questions asked. Like, Wizard is easily my favorite base suit Kamen Rider. I love the Wizard aesthetic. Love the suit. Love the cloak. It works so well. I love how there's like a flat, like matte red, and then a crystally red, but they match still. Like, it's so good. It's such a good suit. Kamen Rider Gaim. I'm actually going to put Gaim in average. While he does stand out compared to other riders, it really is just the orange. You know, like, especially with all the other riders in Gaim, they all have a base suit and armor goes on top. That is the aesthetic. That's what they're going for. Again, doesn't mean it stood out to me. It felt very much like, okay, gimmick quite literally slapped on. Like, you have the gimmick there. It's very in your face. I do appreciate what they did with it, but it does also dangle a lot. That is one issue I have, is the shoulder pads. In action and movement, they flop around so much, and it's not a bad thing. But again, when you're going against all these other riders, you really have to, like, in my opinion, I really have to be subjective. Be like, okay, well, if this is what I like, this is what I like. Gaim just has a lot of the little things that add up. Kamen Rider Drive. Drive is tough. I'm going to put him in good be better. I like Drive suit a lot. I like how it, because of the tire, it's asymmetrical in the wrist. But I think it's just kind of, I don't know, it's the legs for me. It's the legs. I just think there should have been a bit more like thigh armor or leg armor or something. I don't know. It felt, something about it. I feel like it's just missing something. And maybe it's because we have Type Trideron, which kind of fixes issues a lot of people had with the original Drive suit. And I think knowing where Drive suit kind of goes in terms of design, I feel like it could just, the base suit could be better. But this may also be due to looking in retrospect and not looking as it was. Ghost, I really like the Ghost suits. So they are very chunky, very big top-heavy suits, but I think the jackets are fun. They're goofy, and I really like them. And the helmet being so slim and sleek, we don't see that in Kamen Rider. And I think Ghost pulled it off phenomenally. The horn's a bit weird. I never understood the horn on the Ghost suits. They always stood out to me. I feel like they don't make sense. But I get it's to match with like Kamen Rider, but like I feel like they could have done something else. Just the weird horn always stood out to me. But besides that, I think the Ghost suit is just great. X-Aid. I'm putting X-Aid in average. X-Aid, first Kamen Rider suit I ever loved. First season I watched. I'm very biased. Only issue, there's just so much happening. There's a lot of colors, very much clashing. The eyes. The eyes. It's just busy in a good way. Like, X-Aid's a good suit, but Rider started so simple, and some of the designs just evolved from it and kept being simple with little hints of, like, subtle, like, nuance and detail. X-Aid kind of went all over the place. That's my one issue. It's just everything kind of, like, if one part of the suit you like or catches your eye, you're going to be focused on that and not the rest. And that happens a lot, especially in combat, because it's constantly panning different angles. You get to see the suit in different ways. And every single time, you have something else to look at, because there's just so much happening. That's my one issue. Next is build. This is how half and half should have been from the start. Sorry, Double. I love builds clash. You know, the blue and red, they look good together, of course, but I love how you have parts that are clearly just red, clearly just blue, and then if you look down the middle, there's that clash where they intersect, the part where they build off each other and combine. I love the little details of the helmet being, it looks symmetrical from a distance, but then you look closer and realize one's actually a tank, one's a rabbit. The legs, you have a spring, you have tank treads. It has such good little details, but from afar, it still looks so clean. Nothing's really, like, jutting out to me that it's, like, kind of breaking the silhouette or mold. Such a good suit. So, build, peak suit right there. Gio, really good suit. I really like Gio. I like the whole putting words across the riders' faces. I think that was fun. I like that it's a bit bulkier in some spots. I just kind of think the colors don't necessarily blend too well. It's not really that. It's just the very pale white face with the bright pink splotches everywhere. The fact that the suit is very just a black and your silvers. It's just this darker overall rider with brighter touches. It's like, well, other writers have done it. Something about the way Gio did it just didn't sit right with me while watching, and it still doesn't. Personally, I think they kind of went a bit too far with it. If they dialed back some of the brighter colors, especially the white on the face, I think that could have definitely tied the suit around more, but still very good suit. I still really like it. 01, also a very good suit. I love how it's such a hodgepodge of what Rider is, because it's such a simple suit overall, but it still has this high-tech feeling because this was the start of Reiwa. Has all these little lines, these jagged edges, they really stand out to you. But it's still a simple suit. It's sleek. It's very like breathable. There's so much going on that allows you to move in it. My only thing is it's actually, for once, it's the fact that it is yellow and black and like the silver. Like I part of me kind of wishes there was more yellow. It is my favorite color, so that might be a bit of bias. But especially looking at the riders that followed and the riders that came before, I think being simple isn't a bad thing by any means, but I kind of wish they went a bit harder on the base aesthetic, especially because all the other riders kind of started off with crazier ideas from the start, while 01 started simple and it went crazier along. Next is Saber. While I did not really care for Show too much, it's such a good suit. I love how we never see a base, but there's a clear base for Saber. The dragon comes on, takes up that whole side. You have the mouth forming along the shoulder, the flames forming the head, the clear horn sword, which makes sense at least because they're all swordsmen, but you know, the books, the clashing ideas still form this one suit. I love how elongated you can see bits of like the blade forming. The little coat at the end just really ties it together. I really like the Saber suit. I think this is definitely the bias of the combat in Saber, which is really good. So that's why. But yeah, peak suit. Revi and Vice. I think Vice is peak suit. Revi, honestly, average. Okay. I like both suits. Both suits are very good, and they go very well together. But the thing with Revi for me is the purple. I think the purple breaks the suit. You know, I kind of wish they went with the white of the mouth, or the red of the eyes, or just kind of a different purple. Something about the purple bothers me on Revi's suit, because I really like the pink and the cyan. I think they look very good. I think the suit, again, it's very good suit. They did a really good job with it, and it looks very well with Vice. But my issue is, I think Vice is just such a good suit, because I guess it's kind of hard to make this argument, because they had Vice, Kamen Rider Vice, they put armor on Vice with slight modifications, and I think it looks really good. I like the comically large scarf. I think the helmet looks phenomenal with Vice kind of in the T-Rex. The big shoulder pads don't dangle or flop as much as they really should. Like, I feel like they're very static, which good on them for designing it that way. But I love the little bits of the T-Rex you see poke out, but it's still Vice. It's still Vice at the end of the day, but they still incorporated everything that kind of the whole show was about, with these demons and then the animals, the rider references. Like, they kind of combined everything with a good suit there. And I just think Revi, I don't know, so it was really the colors for me. Like, the suit overall looks good, but I think it was just the colors for me that killed it. Next is Geets, who, while I love the suit, dangly bits again. My only thing is, I think the white and red just looks really good. I love the Magnum Boost combo. Personally, I think the red of just Geese's normal helmet kind of clashes a bit with Boost, because they're not the exact same shade, you know? So they clash a little. But they still look good. I don't know, it's just obviously because Revolve On and it passes to other riders, there's some parts of it that I'm kind of like, okay, they could have slimmed that down. Maybe that part could have been like that. So it's still a good suit for what all of the limitations they had for those designs. But I don't know. I still think it could have been a bit better, but I still really like it. Lastly, Gotchard. Average. I like Gotchard's suits. They have a very good set of riders, suits, forms. My only issue with Gotchard, really, is so many parts stick out for the wild form. And maybe I wouldn't be so upset if the wild form was something used in literally every episode, but the wilds really stopped after we got past that kind of first part of Gotchard. So having so much of it dedicated to becoming a grasshopper at the end of it, which takes up most of the aesthetic, and I wish a bit more of the train showed, but at the same time, what else would they really have done to show a train and grasshopper at the same time? So I can't blame them. I do think the suit's good. And that is every Kamen Rider, or the base riders, for the most part, ranked. I guess in post at convention, I'll probably put Zed Cross in really good. Gavu, I'm just gonna put him average for now. Let me know how bad this tier list was. Let me know if you want to see me rank something else, maybe the characters, the seasons, secondaries, whatever. This was based solely on the suits, but of course, I can't help my bias from watching some of these shows, seeing them in action. Some of those had to come out, obviously affecting my choices. But I think overall, fair enough. And again, none of these suits I really do dislike. I do like seeing them all in combat, except Shin. Shin's the only one I do have any form of distaste for, and it's very little. Very little. But make sure you guys share this video, subscribe, helps the channel a ton. And with that being said, I wish you all a lovely day.